Today, we're going to trace the journey of this incredible 19th century monk from India. I mean, this was a man who took an ancient philosophy, traveled halfway across the globe, and delivered a message that just completely electrified the spiritual world at the time. And we're going to start with this really powerful image of Swami Vivekananda. His story is all about building a bridge between the ancient spiritual traditions of the East and the kind of restless, modern, materialistic West. It's really a story about the power of one single powerful idea. And this is the idea right at the heart of his message. It's not a statement, it's a question. I mean, think about it. This was a huge departure from how most people thought back then. The idea that divinity isn't something you have to earn, but it's just who you are. That became the core of this incredible journey he was about to take. Okay, so before he became the Swami Vivekananda everyone knows, he was just a young guy named Narendranath Dutt. And he was this brilliant but kind of restless seeker living in late 19th century Calcutta, which, you have to remember, was a city just buzzing with new ideas under British rule. Now, his spiritual teacher had totally opened his eyes to this vast inner world. But then his master died, and suddenly, Narendranath was adrift. He felt this deep calling, something stirring inside him. But he was hesitant. He was searching for what his real purpose was, for some kind of mission that could actually handle all of his energy. So what does he do? He embraces one of India's oldest traditions. He becomes a parivrajaka, a wandering monk. I mean, he literally renounced everything. With just a staff and a begging bowl, he starts walking across the entire country to see it for himself, to really understand the people, their suffering, and the soul of India. And it's out there on the road, in the dust and the heat, not tucked away in some quiet monastery, that he has this experience, this revelation that's going to change everything for him. So picture this. He's at a prince's court. Vivekananda, this monk committed to a life of total purity, is there when a courtesan, a dancing girl, is brought in to perform, and he's filled with this scorn, right? He sees her profession as sinful, and he's about to get up and leave. But then, she starts to sing. Wow, her song, it's a prayer. She's acknowledging her own flaws, but she's appealing to a God who is same-sided. It's this beautiful idea that just like a philosopher's stone turns any iron, whether it's from a holy statue or a butcher's knife, into gold, the divine sees that same potential in absolutely everyone. And for Vivekananda, this just hits him like a lightning bolt. All his prejudice, his feeling of being spiritually superior, gone in an instant. What he heard in her song was a perfect, living example of Advaita Vedanta. It wasn't just a theory anymore. In that moment, he got it. He realized that the very same divinity he was looking for inside himself was also in the prince. And, crucially, it was in the dancing girl he had just been judging. And just like that, his vague calling became a crystal clear mission. Okay, so when you have a realization this big, that divinity is literally everywhere and in everyone, it needs a bigger stage, a universal stage. And that's when his journey takes this wild turn, all the way to Chicago for the 1893 World's Parliament of Religions. I mean, just try to imagine this. He shows up in America, totally alone, doesn't even have an official invitation. He's there to represent a religion that most people in the West completely misunderstood. And this is at a time when the West is obsessed with industrial power and material wealth. And here comes this monk with a message about inner divinity. It was so different, so new, and people were ready to hear it. And Vivekananda had this really fascinating way of looking at the difference between the East and the West. He saw them as two huge human experiments. You had the West, which was all about mastering the outer world, always asking, how much can I own? And then you had the East, focused on mastering the inner world, asking, how little do I actually need? He was convinced they both had so much to learn from each other. So when he finally gets to speak at the parliament, he doesn't come out preaching some rigid dogma. He presents this big, universal vision. He tells them, hey, you're not weak sinners, you're children of immortal bliss. He says every single soul is already divine, and our whole goal in life is just to let that divinity shine through. He argued that all religions are just different roads leading to the same place. And this is so important. He said religion has to be something you experience, a fact, not just something you believe in without question. So after 4 years of being this huge success in the West, he goes back to India, But the India he returns to is, well, it's colonized, it's struggling with poverty, and a lot of people had lost faith in their own amazing history. His new mission? To wake up a sleeping giant. And this quote became his rallying cry: arise and awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. He took this phrase from the ancient scriptures, the Upanishads, and used it to try and spark a total rebirth of the nation, not through politics, but by reminding people of the spiritual strength they already had. And this is where you see how practical he was. He took this high-level philosophy and turned it into a real, concrete plan. Step 1, regain faith in yourselves. Remind yourselves who you are. Step 2, put that faith into action. He said, don't just look for God in temples. Serve the living God in the person right in front of you, the poor, the sick. And step 3, the best way to serve is to educate everyone, give them both spiritual and practical knowledge. See, for him, spirituality was never an escape. It was the opposite. It was the most powerful tool you could possibly have to solve real-world problems. He gave it a name, practical Vedanta. It's the idea that knowing the highest truth, that every soul is divine, should be the thing that empowers you to go out and change the world. So when you look back at his whirlwind life and this powerful message, what's the real legacy? I mean, what does it all mean for us today? You know, at its very core, his message is just incredibly empowering. He was saying that religion isn't about following a bunch of rules or doing ceremonies to get something that you lack. No, it's about realization. It's about discovering the freedom, the divinity that is already who you are. It's not something you find, it's something you remember. You never even lost it. And his message was also one of radical inclusion. I mean, he was adamant that no single religion, no one book, no single person could ever have a monopoly on truth. He thought variety was amazing. He called it the very soul of life. He truly believed that all paths, as long as you're sincere, are leading to the exact same place. And that really leads us with a final thought, doesn't it? In our world today, which feels so divided, so fractured by our differences, Vivekananda's message from the 19th century feels more relevant than ever. What would actually change if we really took to heart that core idea, the one he learned from a dancing girl in a palace, the idea that the exact same spark of divinity exists in every single person we meet?